Hello, welcome to the Three Arcs weekly live stream where I'm David and I do a update of all our progress during the week for this Verbobonc Campaign Guide 576 Common Year project that to be used to run the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. The sandbox version, the epic campaign version of this campaign, where it's just not running the module from the pages, but actually engaging all the surrounding lands and activities of the Temple of Elemental Evil cultists and all their people they're collaborating with, all the different organizations from pirates, brigands, and bandits, and lords and nobles from Verbobonc and divers and the Wild Coast. So basically, I do this live stream every week to get everybody caught up to what I did all week. Speaking of which, I got a bad flu all week, and I wasn't able to get too much done, but I did finish one of the districts, the Civic Center district, and now I'm starting to work today. I started working on the Elven Dawn district, the D district. So let me go ahead and show you what I've done so far. If you want to ask any questions about the campaign or talk about your campaign, please just type in the YouTube chat here, and I can answer them here on screen. If you have any problems listening to me or my audio or video, let me know right away so I can fix it. So let's go ahead and take a look here. This is the main campaign website, and a couple of weeks ago, I started having a problem with it where on the main page, if you scroll down past all the introduction and the interactive map here of the Viscounty, this section right here, you couldn't see it. You had to highlight it because the background was missing. So now I fixed it. So now you can see the actual table of contents on the left-hand side. So that's good news. And under introduction is these articles I highly suggest everybody read first if you want to know more about this campaign. And the atlas is all the locations in the world, as you can see. I want my intention is to spread into the Wild Coast, so that way the players can start or go anywhere within the reasonable play area of the campaign, where all the cultist activities and contacts are, who they're working with and collaborating with, including the slavers of the Wild Coast. And below that is the encyclopedia, which is all the organizations, all the gods, deities, the churches, all the non-player characters in this campaign so far, which is hundreds. Even the races are here because I like to link everything together. So if somebody's a half-elven, they'll link to the article, to their NPC, to the half-elven article, so it'll tell you what that's about. All right, so what I did was this week, let's look at all my tabs here. That's my Eastern Viscounty map, because I would like to start my campaign in the City of Verbobonc with the Noble Ambitions quest series, which is this article right here. And I start my players at first level. It gets them to second level after this dungeon. And this quest series is 13 episodes long with 5 side quests. As you can see, the links on the right with table of contents. And those are all linkable. If you just hover your cursor over, it will pop up. Click again, it'll be a full pop-up of all the artwork and charts and stuff. So then, also what I want to mention, well, let's go in order here. So that's the Eastern. This is the Viscounty map. Every hex is 3 miles. The other one was 1 mile. And basically everything in the orange line is the Viscounty. And the City of Verbobonc is what I'm working on right now. And real quick, per request from 3 Orcs members on Discord, they wanted me to create a module version of the City of Verbobonc, which I have been doing. And as you can see, I've been doing that every day. Every time I update an article or create a new article with artwork and stuff, I post it on Discord for you guys to critique and look over. So that's what's going on with that. And you can follow along and help discuss these things to make sure that the locations and NPCs and organizations are good to go, that nothing's wrong or could be improved on. But the City of Verbobonc main article is here, and it has an interactive map of the city right here. It's a little bit laggy, I guess. I don't know why it's a little laggy. There we go. Gosh. And on the right-hand side is another table of contents of the different quarters or districts. So on this project, this city was already done 4 years ago, but I'm a lot better at writing articles and NPCs and locations now. And so I've been going through these one by one, improving them, rewriting them, and updating the graphics, the artwork, and rewriting the articles and formatting too. And so I finished the A quarter. The B quarter's done, this business quarter. And I finally finished this week the Civic Center quarter district. So A, B, and C is done. I just started on the D, Elven Dawn quarter. I got D1 done today. And below that, I did the H's, all the H's, the city gates and all the locations outside the walls, which you can see here. I'll show you outside the walls. See, like H 9 is outside the wall, H 15, H 10, H 8. So those are all done. They've been updated, including also a lot of the inns, their menus. I never did those menus, so I created graphic artwork for all those menus. That way you can print them up and share them with your players when they're ordering food and drink at the inn. I also did a bunch of articles on, the laws, article about the nobles, the council, lords, things like that. But I'm kind of going through this to update everything. And also at the same time, I'm updating this website. I'm also creating a PDF version for you to print up, a printable version. So let me show you what I did so far. So I started on the Civic Center. But before I show you the Civic Center, let's look at what I finished with the Civic Center. So last week, I think I don't remember how far I got. I think I got as far as C14, C15, C16, C18. Yeah. So I think this week I did C17 and C18. So C17 is Lord Langmire's Manor. So let's take a look at that real quick. So this one is a pretty important location because one of the lords of Verbobonc, which isn't quite a good aligned character class. Hey, Hoodie, thank you. Hi, David. Keep up with the great work. A through C is done. Yes, I know. I should have all that done a week ago, but I got the flu. I had the flu all week. Last live stream last Sunday, I had a bad cold. I was complaining about it, and then it just got worse and worse. I'm still tired all the time, but I'm past most of it. And Damien, thank you for joining again. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining again. We've been missing you. You haven't been around lately. I know it's a busy time of year for you. So I'm showing Lord Langmire's Manor, C17. I did this during the beginning of the week. And as you can see, it's greatly improved, all these articles, the layout and the descriptions and the flavor text, the locations, and all the information on the right. I categorized all the important facts, who's there, little blurbs and stuff, all their relationships. And I added adventure hooks to everything. Everything has an adventure hook now. This is original, but it's an actual flavor text of each room of the house. So if the players ever go there, you'll have this ready to go to role play with the characters. If they're an invited guest or something for the Langmires, or they go to see the Langmires for some sort of investigation or something, and they come here to meet with them, at least you have this flavor text to role play with as they're invited into the manor and go into different rooms. And then, of course, there's a whole section of the secrets of Langmire. And I added another little chat quest plot thing called Lawhen's Challenge. It's a stable boy. He has a unique challenge, so it's kind of interesting. Then I did a spoiler down here, so it adds a lot more information and mystery and intrigue to the location. On the right-hand side, below all this stuff and the herald of Langmire, I wrote another flavor text. It looks like you read out loud to the players as they approach the manor what the place looks like. So that's done. Also, as you can see on the right-hand side, again, the owner is Lord Ludovic Langmire. He's the mother's trying to get him married. Politically motivated power move. And his mother, Godleva Langmire, she's like the Iron Lady. She's very stern, tough, and evil, kind of like one of those Game of Thrones type characters. The old witch, the Iron Lady, that's her nickname, the Iron Lady, very mean and evil. And she's trying to maneuver all these different houses to maintain relationships and balance of alliances and rivalries throughout the kingdom. including Viscount Wilfric. So there's a lot of politics going on with this house, and there's a lot of reasons why the players might end up here meeting with them. So this isn't their only manor. Their lands are south. So I'll show you again on the Viscounty map. We'll look at this map here. So this is the Viscounty map where every hex is 3 miles. And I'll go ahead and show you the barony borders. There we go. These are the barony borders. And so the red area is Langmire. So I took liberty figuring out these borders because the borders that they had an image of in the Living Greyhawk series was the year 594 Common Year, which is well after the Greyhawk Wars. A lot of things changed. This campaign exists between 576 Common Year and 579 Common Year. So you had to figure out what the borders were then. And I think this pretty much is accurate as I could make it. And I asked a lot of questions, everybody's opinions and stuff. And this is about as close as I could get. So this red area is land of House Langmire. So the high road is really the low road, by the way. The high road is really the long road. It's got 2 names because the long road cuts north and south through the Viscounty. But it's also considered the high road because it splits down south, going east into the gnarly forest. Okay, so Mole. So the 2 towns, I wish I would stop doing that. So Mole and Etterbolc. So Lord Langmire's manors in Etterbolc. That's their ancestral house there in Etterbolc. Etterbolc is fully keyed with an interactive map, so it's ready to be used. And it's possible for the players, even as a wandering monster, to encounter Lady Langmire, the Iron Lady, along the high road, the long road, traveling. She's in a carriage, traveling to the Viscount, to the city, and the players just happen to be on the road. I usually have them encounter her after Noble Ambitions, when they start finally going south. And before they get to Etterbolc, I'll have her riding with their knights and her soldiers, making the players get off the road, or she threatens to have them run down. And so there's a whole encounter for that, which is really cool because it shows interactively, role-playing terms, the players get first-hand sight of another noble in the kingdom. It's really good. Instead of reading box text, instead of reading box set information, lore to players, which is really boring, it's best to interact with your players with this information. They come across it in the campaign naturally, and it really brings the campaign to life. It's just a small role-playing encounter with some danger element. If the players are rude, they will get run down by those knights and maybe even arrested. And the worst-case scenario, they'll get flogged unless they kill somebody. So anyway, that's what I have going on there. All right, so Damien said, I seem to recall Godleva is a sorceress too. Nasty old bat. Yes, he is. Let's take a look and see if I actually did that. Lord Langmire. So in the Lord Langmire's manor on the right-hand side, again, there are these links. There's a link to the parent location, which is the Civic Center Plaza. There's a link to the Lord who's trying to get married. There's a link to House Langmire, all about the house itself. It's an organizational article, and these characters belong to that organization. So if I ever create organizational articles, are great because if I create more members of it, I can add them to that article. It's an organization. It's a house. So Godleva, you talk Goda, or you can say Godleva, Godleva. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her. All right, so do I have a stat block? No. So I never did make a stat block, but this is a good example of a character. I put a lot of depth and effort into the main characters of the campaign, the Lords, and she's a major pivotal character in the campaign. And so there's a lot of information about everything she's up to, everything. But I never did make a stat block for her. I do have secret political plans as a spoiler. Oh, that's right. A marriage to House Hax. So this is one of her plots. Basically, Savra Hax, the daughter of Lord Hax, he's the Lord Mayor of Verbobonc. She's trying to discuss marriage between her son, Lodovic Langmire, and Savra, the daughter of Lord Hax. But she rebels. Savra finds this Savra finds this arrangement insufferable and runs away to join the Feather Gale Society. She's following Thurl Murasoka to the Feather Gale Spire. So Feather Gale Spire is one of the air outposts, kind of like the Moat House is for the Greater Temple. Well, the Air Temple has an outpost in the Cron Hills. I'll show you what that is in the main map here. Not that map. This map. Okay. This is the Viscounty map. So I'll do the DM thing. DM locations. There we go. So that's the Viscounty. There's Edelbook. There's the City of Verbobonc. Dang, don't do that. There's Edelbook to the south. And I know it's doing it. It shifts around because it focuses on your mouse. And I turned the borders on. And so it's focusing on those borders. That's why it's doing that. Right here. Feathergale Spire. So it's in the southern range of the Gnarly Forest. It's a pretty cool location. I wonder if I have anything with it. So I did do it. I only linked it to the Temple of the Elemental God cult. That's what I just linked it to that for now. The cult article. I haven't created that location yet. So going forward, after I finish the City of Verbobonc, I'm going to start focusing on working on the actual different outposts for the different lesser temples. All right, so back to Lord. So anyway, her and all the other lords in this entire kingdom are fully flushed out just like this. Okay, so we're finished with the C17, Lord Thankmeyer's Manor, and C18, last one. You know what's funny is this article is C1 through 16, but I created 2 additional locations here since I've named it that. I should rename that article. Make it 1 through 18. So this manor house I did this week is a thieves guild beneath a vacant manor. So flavor text getting there. Basically, there's no taxes are collected. Officially, this manor does not exist in any active registry in the city. No taxes, no repairs, no guards, no magistrate claims jurisdiction. The Viscount's court at Castle Greyfist and the bureaucratic organs at City Hall are aware that removing the Thieves Guild would not eliminate crime, but it would fragment it, inviting rival syndicates, cult agents, and foreign gangs into the city. It's a single, stable criminal power that's preferable to chaos. All right, let's see what you guys have to say here. Hey, thank you for joining, OGN Jen. Appreciate it. But he said, yep, I think she was in VER 402 called Costly Gamble. Great to refresh this PRGA content. So the VER 402 is a module written in the Living Greyhawk era between 2000 and 2008. Hundreds of modules are written for Living Greyhawk in that time. And those adventures were set after the Greyhawk Wars, between 593 Common Year and 599 Common Year, I believe. And they were specifically ordered by Wizards of the Coast not to go near Nulb and not to discuss anything about the Temple of Elemental Evil. So they had to create a lot of adventures around the lands of Verbobonc. All the World of Greyhawk was developed then, but each state, like Illinois, was responsible for Verbobonc. So all the Dungeon Masters and authors from Illinois was responsible for all the modules in Verbobonc. I love it because I don't approve or use the possible future event of Greyhawk Wars, which doesn't matter. You can use it. It doesn't really matter. It's in the future. It's up to you as a Dungeon Master if you like it or not, or want to use it or not. I just consider it as a possible future event. So using this material for the existing timeline, 579 Common Year, running the original Temple of Elemental Evil module by Gary Gygax and Frank Venture, you have to backtrack a lot of this stuff, from that timeline, what it was like back in 579 Common Year. And so all these modules and lore and information about these different organizations and locations in the area has to be rewritten for that new timeline. Let's see. So everything you need to know about this manor is here. It's a thieves guild. So what I never did yet, I haven't done this, but I haven't really flushed out the entire thieves guild with all the characters. But look what I did to this article. I added quite a bit. A lot of information here. I also added a plot connection to Lacus. So basically, I mentioned this before, a thief in the party that has any kind of affiliation with this Thieves Guild, a quest could be given to them to infiltrate and be invited to Lacus's great parties at his manor in the noble sector of the city. He's a rich merchant from Divers that just recently came to City of Verbobonc, and he throws these great lavish parties, invites all the nobles, hobnobbing with all the nobles and lords in the region. Very popular right now, throwing around a lot of money. And of course, he is an agent of the Temple of Elemental Evil. And it's possible for a player, one way for a player to be invited to one of these parties to find out, to investigate and see what's going on. There's a whole plot on how to get rid of Lacus from the city, to chase him out of the city and capture him and arrest him. That's a future module. But yeah, he is one of the major players for the Temple of Elemental Evil in Verbobonc, and he's made a lot of acquaintances with other nobles and lords and other agents, including assassins and thieves. In fact, the first module, Noble Ambitions, he hires a whole bunch of bandit mercenaries from one of the inns in the city the players could have been staying at, by the way. So they might recognize these bandits to waylay and attack the players and Lady Eleanor on their way out of the city. After the 1 day's ride, they spend the night out in the wilds, and they're ambushed at night with orders to burn that wagon down. Not to touch Lady Eleanor. Don't harm her. Really interesting. Anyway, Lacus is the one that gave those orders. Okay, so full description of the manor. I never made a map of this place. That might be very useful in the future for players to do another kind of investigation, and sneaking in and casing the place, looking for clues. Yeah. On the right-hand side is a thieves' rumors table. So it's possible for a thief to pick up some rumors about this place. I created a chart for that, the D12 chart. Pretty cool. Optional DM guidance to help you figure this stuff out. How to use this table. Typical D&D stuff. This map stuff I didn't create. It's from Forged Studios. It's generic. I'm not putting those maps in the module version. But anyway, I did do new artwork, though. All right, so that's that. Now, the next place. The next place, I talked about the government already. I did this article a couple weeks ago. I've realized that a government article needed to be done, describing how the government actually works with the Council of Lords and the Viscount. Anyway, I talked about this last week. Okay, so we did C6. We did the Civic Center. I need to relabel this C1 through 18. City of Verbobonc. So now we're going to look at D. Right click, open new tab. So I created this. I wrote this today. I've been modifying the artwork so it looks better than that. And I've just been putting it in the module. A lot of times I don't put it in World Anvil. One reason is the square format wastes too much space in the module format. And the module format is really tight. A lot of dense information on one page. And I don't waste any space. And I also make sure that every location character is an entire page or a 2-page layout. So it's easy to reference. I don't believe in page and a half crap. You got to fill the whole page out. Flavor text. What it looks like when you arrive there for the first time to that district. About the Elven Dawn. So the Elven Dawn is basically, this used to be an Elven city at the beginning of time. This was an Elven settlement with the gnomes. The gnomes were on one side of the river. I'm just going by memory here. The gnomes had a small village on one side of the river, the Rents, Gnomesburg, and on the other side of the river was of Nibs Run was the city of the Elven city. And then when the humans migrated through, I can't remember. It was the not the Artie. Not the Artie. Yeah, the Artie came through, and then the Flan was here originally, but the Flan didn't live here. This is an Elven village. Anyway, so then the migrations came through and they settled the area, and the elves slowly moved out, but they kept the Elven enclave. And this is the section of the city that's the Elven enclave, and I'll show it to you in a minute I'll show it to you here. Where's the picture? There we go. So, okay, again, A's are done, this section. B's are done, this whole section. Everything outside the city, all the H's are done, including all the walls. All the C's are done, the Civic Center area, all these. And now I'm starting to work on the D's, the Elven Quarter. Let me put a border up. You can actually add borders. See? Doop, doop. There we go. See that border that pops up? It's very faint. Let's see. D. You can filter these out. You know, the map gets really busy if you don't use the filter. So I just filtered the section. Speaking of this, I got a request from somebody in Discord. Let's take a look at that real quick. RPGA. The RPGA, yes, Hoodie, thank you. Hoodie said that. Patreon chat. I have a Patreon chat. So the Patreon chat and Discord is for talking about this project. The normal chat channel is just for talking about everything in general. Okay, so what he said was, I would like you to do stuff. So you requested that. So Sir Spoony is an active member in Discord. He thinks that his elven players are looking for an elven tailor. They've had to go through Nold disguised as humans in bulky human clothing with thick hoods and face wraps, and their original clothing had gotten all torn and bloodstained. So an elven tailor or a seamstress would be a go-to store for them. I also thought of the idea of the owner of the store weaving minor magics into the clothing for players to discover, such as a tunic embroidered with ip tree leaves that give off a faint silvery glow that come with 100 yards of ip tree and mild but intriguing stuff like that. Anyway, that's my idea for the Elven Dawn business. I asked everybody in Discord, you guys got any good ideas? Because there's only 7 locations, and I feel like it really needs more locations compared to the rest of the city, at least, right? Because there's a lot more locations in the other part of the city, but Elven Dawn only has 7. I think there's room for at least 2 more. Anyway, that's what I'll let you know about that. So we did the main article for Elven Dawn, organizational article. And basically, it's a description of what the whole place is like. The architecture, the history, the politics, the green wall, which is part of the defense, as you can see from the map here. See the green wall right there? This green wall doesn't have stone walls. See the difference? See the cutoff right there? How to run it. It's a boundary more than a fortification. The elves man it. You know, they got bows, so they got patrols and stuff. How do players get involved? They're seeking elven lore, chasing a lead tied to Selene or the Gnarly, petition for sanctuary, healing, follow the temple thread. If they linger, what goes wrong? If they break etiquette, refugee dispute spills into the streets, a forest matter erupts, things like that. I added some optional 5e stuff, numbers to help you role play. On the right hand side is the stats, what this place is. Key figures. So the key figures I added here because you got the watch captain. So players will most likely come across him when they get here. Gave him a little quote. A refugee speaker, one of the refugees, and also a conclave attaché. She's the diplomat. And then the table of contents for this section. And rumors. I did a D10 rumor table in case you need it to bring the place to life. And how to run the Dungeon Master notes how to run this location. Just to help you figure it out. But anyway, this is the main cover article for the whole entire quarter. So now that that's done, let's go. I did the first location. So the first location is D1. Take a look at that. So D1 right away, the first thing I redid was I didn't like the artwork. So I redid the artwork completely. So this picture is from across the street. in the foreign quarter looking into the Elven Enclave quarter. I'll show you. So D1 is right here. So that picture is basically from this tree looking on. It's a little bit off. It's not parallel, but the picture, the photograph, the painter is standing here, I guess. You should be standing there looking straight at it. It's really hard to make maps using pre-made objects. And I made this map several years ago. And behind it is the Elven Quarter, right? But this whole corridor is the foreign quarter. So it's right on the edge. So as you can see, I made sure there's cobblestone streets with humans and elves walking around, looking at the front face of the church, the temple. So this is the sanctuary of the Volari. It's a church to all four of these gods. And actually, you know, I wrote everything you need to know. But on the right-hand side is the high priests. I made a list of all 4 high priests, you know, what their name is and who they are and level. I also wrote a list of all the deities with links to those deities so you can know all about them. Everything you want to know about that deity, that god, is on those articles, including new holy symbols too. And I put a couple images here. On the right-hand side, I'm just talking about the right-hand side right now since we're doing it. The rumors. So I added a D10 rumor list, plot hooks too, to help you get this going in your campaign if you want to. An optional 5e friendly mechanic tool. Oh, I see I didn't add it. I should delete that. The turning blessing. So any NPCs who perform a fitting act, not merely coin, may receive a small boon. I guess these are altar bonuses. You get a special effect. And it reminds me of Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and the other game that just renewed, Oblivion. Yeah, you go pray at these different altars. You get like a 1-day effect from that altar. That's what these kind of do. Kind of cool. And so yeah, on the left side, location, description, the grounds, the deliberately unkept garden, because it tells you about the 4 garden signs. They're always present. Just to help you to bring this place to life. The interior layout is pretty brief. The 4 wings, but I did put a lot. So the interior layout is a brief description of the general layout, and then I went ahead and go into more detail of each of the 4 wings, like the spring wing, and the summer wing, and the autumn wing, and the winter wing. So you can have the players go in there and interact with the high priest and other priests there. There's clergy rivals and seasonal etiquette. Talks about that. Okay, so then I added the hooks, the player hooks. So those reasons why they would come here, for players to come here. What happens if they linger? What could go wrong? Their rituals, history, and politics. So anyway, that's done. Of course, I don't have a map of this place either, but if I made a map of every building in the campaign, I'd never get done. I'm still working on the Lizardman map. So anyway, that's what I did today. D1. So that's done. So now tomorrow will be the D2, D3, D4. D3 and D2, I had to make menus for. Tavern and an inn. D4 is a shrine to a temple. D5 is another temple to Istis. D6 is the capital building, court building to the bastion of the Elven Enclave. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to add like what was requested on Discord. I had to add a shop for clothing, so I'll go ahead and fill that out. So that'll be D9. Oh, this is D8 already. So this goes to D7. So I have to rename this. So if I add that location like you suggested, it's going to be D9. And if anybody has an idea of what else to add to this part of the city in the Elven Enclave, let me know, and I can create that as another article location. So we'll have 10 locations there. That'd be cool. So if you guys can think of a good location to be here in Elven Dawn, that'd be awesome. I could add it. I suppose I could add like an Elven manor to one of the important Elven nobles, like his home. I suppose I could add that. The main character article is right here. So we got so these main characters right here, these three are just some you might encounter in general. But if you go to like the Bastion, this is important. The Bastion is where all the main NPCs are. Like Lareth Skyshear. Laroth. So he is... There we go. So these are notable people. You got Captain of the Guard. You got the Counselor and the Mage. And you got the Master Scout. And you got the Council Elders. You got Laroth Skyshear, which I mentioned earlier. He's the High Counselor. Then you got the Counselor of Arcane Affairs. And you got the Counselor of Defense. So I suppose the High Counselor should have his own manor. His own tree. So maybe that would be the 10th location. His manor tree. That'd be a good idea. But then the Council of Arcane Affairs, that'd be like a tree version of a wizard's tower, don't you think? That person would have their own place. And that'd be really useful for any dungeon master in this campaign, because what if your player is from there? What if you have an elven mage or a half elven mage character, wizard, in your group, and he wants to be from here? So it'd be useful to have that location. That way he has a location that could be tied to that character that you can always return to get training, spells, information, help, quests, turning quest, follow the advice, get information from that master. That's a good idea. So I'm thinking of good stuff right now. Anyway, that's as far as I got. So if you guys have any good ideas for the Elven Dawn, this is the week to give it to me. All right, let's see. I've got a few ideas. So Damien has a few good ideas, but you haven't been around lately. You've been too busy. I haven't seen you much. If you have a few good ideas, send them over. But I'd really like to flush out the Elven Dawn a little bit more. It'd be worth it. Tracy Babbitt says, keep up the work. Love old school. That's right. Old school rules. Get it on like Donkey Kong. Thank you for joining, Tracy, our Three Orcs Discord chat. I appreciate it. All right. So what do we got left to do? We talked about that. So I guess we need to talk about the fan content library. My next one I was thinking about putting out was, my video didn't pop up. Maybe if I could refresh it. Unlocking the January module. There it goes. It popped up. I did a video on how to get these modules, by the way. Yeah, I already decided that this would be the next one. Leadership module. I didn't quite reach these goals, though. Patreon subscribers. I'm almost there. I'll have to look. Let's see. Take a look real quick. If I can. Let's see. Open a new tab. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm at 1850 right now. So I'm not quite at 1900. So I need another 50 subscribers. And the Patreon is, I don't know. I've been having some people join lately. I'll have to take a look. Let's see. Bring it over here. The dashboard. So if I can meet one of those, that'd be great. 415. I'm 5 short. I have 415 members. For some reason, a couple of people quit. It's so weird. Every month, a couple of people quit. Then once people join. I think some dungeon masters, they intend to do all this and they end up not wanting to. They get overwhelmed or something. I think that sometimes that might be happening. I don't know. Okay, that's it. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys have any questions about the campaign, let me know. I can answer them for you right now. But, I still have the flu and I'm not speaking very well. So I'm going to rest for the rest of the night and continue working on this project next week and finish the Elven Dawn, the D district of the City of Verbobonc. So if you have no further questions, let me go ahead and wrap this up here. So this is David with Three Orcs. I'm just wrapping up my live stream with the the Verbobonc Campaign Guide 576 Common Year for running the epic sandbox version of the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. I make a live video every Sunday at 7 p.m. West Coast PST, and you can welcome to join and answer questions and ask questions. And sometimes I'll have a Dungeon Master guest to come on and talk about your campaign, or sometimes I'll have a guest like one of the original authors of Living Greyhawk on here. Also, if you wish to support this project, please, by all means, join the Patreon. You can just join the Patreon for free to get most of this fan-free content. But if you want the high-resolution versions and certain special things I offer besides the main core content, you'll have to be a member for that. And also, you're more than welcome to join the Discord, to join the conversation and talk to us, to collaborate with all of us and critique all this work, because I post it every day that I do work on it, and I want to hear everybody's feedback and discuss what needs to be done and what we could do next. And sometimes I take special requests in for Dungeon Masters that need certain things. That's something I might have overlooked. Anyway, I hope your players enjoy your campaign as much as mine have over the years, and I hope you find this material provides you a lot of great content for your campaign to really bring it to life the way the World of Greyhawk should be. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you next week. Good night.